So we're going to talk and we'll have a good time.
Great.
Hi, Paul Slack is Good News Planet. I'm speaking to Ashley Koff. Hi, Ashley. How are you?
I'm wonderful, thank you.
Good. You're a resident RD, right? What is
I'm
that?
a registered dietitian, which is a little bit different than a nutritionist. I have a medical license, and I had to go through graduate school, and I did the boards and, et cetera. So I like to make sure that people understand the distinction.
Okay, and it's important. And you're an author and a health and a lifestyle contributor. And
yes, I just wrote, my new book is Mom Energy, which just came out, and I've written recipes for IBS and a couple others, and I do a fair amount of media work as well as see patients regularly in Los Angeles and around the country.
The phones are ringing. I don't know. They must
it's
know
that
I'm
time
talking
of year
to you.
also.
It's all good. So tell us about the book.
Mom Energy was such a passion project for me, and really it began with energy being such a passion project. The idea that people kept saying, what's new or newsworthy in nutrition? And, I think a lot of times we look for, like, the newest superfood or, what can we discover, in terms of how an antioxidant functions. But in my clinical practice, I was seeing that everybody that was coming in, whether overtly they were asking for help with their energy or whether they were having diseases or conditions or symptoms related to poor quality energy, and I'll make that distinction in a moment, that was really the issue. And so for me, I've been on sort of this mission for the last 3 or 4 years about teaching people about their energy and understanding that energy solutions, as we often think of them in the form of bars and drinks or medications like an Ambien or, things that will stimulants that will wake us up, things that will put us to sleep, et cetera, that these are really Band-Aids, and in many instances they're poor Band-Aids, and they're not addressing the issue. And what ends up happening is if we over time let those keep going, then the body really starts to fall apart. And so looking at the positive side of it, I thought there was a great opportunity to teach people about their energy and really move the conversation away from maybe specifically a number on the scale or even specifically their cholesterol number or something else, and talk about energy in the way that, our body is a series of just very simple energy equations, how we manage our blood sugar, how our hormones function, how we wake up in the morning, how we fall asleep. Like, energy is really, really understandable. But when we complicate it with things that the body doesn't recognize, that can sometimes be an issue. So I went on this energy mission. And who better to talk to than moms, right? In terms of
1,000%.
If every person in my office is coming in with the desire for more energy, then even every mom that I meet, no matter what, if she's a dog mom, if she's a grandmother, if she's a stepmother, if she's a, you name it, she is giving her energy out physically in many instances, but certainly mentally, physically, and psychologically on an ongoing basis. And what I was finding is that moms were not focusing on taking care of or refreshing or protecting their own energy. So, the easiest way to think about it is when you get on the airplane, what does the airplane safety message say? Put your oxygen mask on before anybody else. But what do we do in our lives? Well, most of us, and this is particularly true in that mom space, tend to start fixing and helping everybody else, even at their own detriment. And sometimes it even becomes an excuse to not take care of their health. Oh, I have to take care of so many other people. So this book was an ode to moms everywhere, with this idea of not only, yes, you can take care of your energy and have better energy, but you have to. You actually should. And a lot of that is, comes to play with this notion of sort of rethinking how we think about ourselves and as a mom, but also the idea of selfishness. A lot of times we're deemed selfish by anyone if we take care of ourselves. If we don't want to go to a restaurant because we don't like the food there, that might be perceived as selfish. Or if we want an hour to exercise by ourselves, that might be deemed as selfish. Or if we don't want to have cookies and ice cream in the house because we might eat them late at night when the kids are asleep, that might be deemed as selfish. And my point is, you bet, and selfish is actually good. So it's really talking to people about how taking care of yourself, not only role models for everybody else around you, but it also just makes you a more happy and content and healthy person, which means you're probably more fun and definitely more energetic to be around.
Mm-hmm. They say if you don't take care of yourself, it's going to be pretty tough to take care of anybody else.
Right. And, it doesn't have to be that black and white. I like to teach people that by way of taking care of yourself, you actually are taking care and better care of others. When we talk about energy today, there really is this idea of more energy. And that's been, since the coffee shop revolution, now we have the energy drinks, we have energy shots, not all of which are bad. In fact, there are some of these things that I like. I love to have a shot of oolong tea if I need a pick-me-up, or, even some of the energy shots, if they're made of better quality, like true ingredients. But, quote-unquote energy bars, everything being sold in the name of energy. I'll give an example of why it doesn't go right. Years and years ago when I was working in advertising, before I became a dietitian, I was working with, my client was Kellogg's, and I was working with them on both the U.S. level and also the international level. And one of my projects was to help with the rebranding of Raisin Bran. Raisin Bran's been around forever, but how is it not your parents, your grandfather's soggy cereal, right? And so what we were talking about was really this idea of what do youthful people, and by this we meant, people in their 30s, 40s, 50s today want. And it was really at that time, this was 1995, 96, it was energy, right? Even back then, everybody wanted more energy from their food. Well, Raisin Bran has an incredible amount of energy, and especially, when we were looking at Kellogg's Raisin Bran. And so in the U.S., they were saying, hey, can we just come out, legally? I was sitting down with their law team. What can we say about Raisin Bran that talks about how it gives us so much energy? Well, at the end of the day, it gives a lot of energy because it has a whole heck of a lot of calories. And those calories are coming primarily from sugar because the flakes are coated with sugar and the raisins are coated with sugar, and dried fruit is naturally a sugar, and flakes are naturally a sugar. So all that was going on in there was sugar. And so you can have Raisin Bran, and you can get a sugar bomb, and yes, you're going to get fiber, and you will get a lot of energy. The problem is if you just have that and you pour it in a bowl of milk, or you even drink it with some orange juice or your coffee with milk in it, your energy is going to skyrocket, and then I don't want to be anywhere near you if you're in a car or if you're working or if you're around your kids or anything else about 2 hours later, because your energy will be tanking. And so the issue there is you can get more energy. You can take vitamins for more energy, you can drink caffeine, you can do all these other things that are out there for more energy. But what we really want when we understand the body is we want better energy. We want to understand that our body is meant to be more like rolling hills in terms of if we're looking at our energy levels than an EKG machine with the ups and downs and the ups and downs. And, when you start to explain that to people, I think they get a better grasp of, okay, it's not that I can't have coffee or I can't have cereal or I can't have a cookie or I can't have a glass of wine, any of these things, but it's that I shouldn't be having them all at one time, and that to create better energy, certainly from a nutritional standpoint, I need protein, I need healthy fats, I need my vegetables, and I also need to eat less, and I need to eat less, but I need to eat more frequently, typically, than we're doing. So when we start to understand that, and I often use the analogy of thinking about your body like a race car, we start to understand how our own internal energy can work while still being able to, can work better, while still being able to consume the things that we like to enjoy as long as they're good quality.
Now, Ashley, you have a lot to speak about. There's no doubt about that, and your book is marvelous, Mom Energy. I really enjoyed it. In fact, I gave it to my not little girl anymore since I'm a grandpa, and she's using it. So
good.
I want to tell the audience. So I'm going to say this is like a first conversation for some other future ones as well. Ironically enough, I met you through something that Ford Motor Company did, which was a showing of one of their latest new vehicles that was had many unusual features associated with environmentally minded and the materials there and the color scheme, how it was almost au naturel, and we were talking about a car. So you were there, and tell us why you were there.
I was there. It was super fun. Talk about a collaboration that I really never envisioned happening on a lot of levels. I was mentioning working with Kellogg's in Battle Creek, but, I'm actually from Michigan, and I grew up right around the Ford plant. So it was very funny to, have this full circle world come back, especially when a car company says to a dietitian, hey, do you want to be at our event? People kind of look at you and go, what's up with this?
Right.
But the issue is we were all talking, there was a metaphoric level, and then there was that was very similar, and then there was a very physical level. On the physical level, Ford is making exchanges in their car that are incredibly helpful to the environment and that we can feel really good about. And they are, really doing a great job looking at materials that are not just more sustainable in the sense of, recycled and sourcing things that are going to be sustainable and getting rid of chemicals that are harsher on the environment. But that also hold up and still look good, because I think you can't have one part of it and not have the other parts. So on the one hand, we started talking because, I recommend hemp in foods, or I talk about organic soy, or I talk about the benefits of non-GMO corn, or, all these things. And these are things that they're starting to use in their car. Even coconut was a really big one. They're using the coconut shells, which that's an extremely sustainable use of those shells. So I loved that. And but on a more metaphorical level, we partnered because the idea of how you fuel your body properly and how you take care of your body, I think I was just giving one car analogy. I give so many other car analogies. The quality of the fuel that you put into your car is really important today, and we can do things like electric versus gas, and even within the realm of gas, there are different levels of quality. We can put corn, and different things like that, and we're looking for solutions there. And in the realm of what we put in our bodies, I'm an advocate of putting the best quality fuel into your body, so that's really important. And then when I talk about, thinking about your body like a race car, even if we're talking about a street car, there are different things that a car needs. It needs air in the tires, it needs oil, and it needs gas. And if you just focus on one and you don't focus on the other two parts, you're going to have an issue. For example, you can accelerate a car, but if it you can push your foot down on the pedal, but if it doesn't have any gas in it, it's just going to give us that horrible screeching noise and not go anywhere. Sort of burning rubber. And that's very similar to if you just wake up in the morning and have a couple shots of espresso and you don't have any fuel in your body. That's how your body feels. Mm-hmm. Or if you decide to eat, I was talking before about just having the gas, but that would be your carbohydrates. That's your quick energy. That's what the body uses as its fuel. That's what the car uses to run on, or electricity, et cetera. But the car needs its oil and it needs the air in the tires and it needs its windshield wiper fluid and all this other stuff, so that it runs efficiently and it runs its best. And in the same way, in our body, we need healthy fats and we need quality proteins so that the rest of our body functions optimally. So there's a lot of, when we started talking, it was just kind of a very simple, let's talk about hemp and let's talk about coconut. And then we started to realize there was a tremendous amount of similarities within the Ford world as well.
Mm-hmm. Well, it's a lot of good news. As I say, your website is Love Handles. No, Shredding for the Wedding. You have a lot of information on here that's very valuable.
The Love Handles and Shedding for the Wedding are actually 2 TV shows that I did, but my website is just ashleykoffrd.com.
It's a good thing. And so I'd like to speak again with you because maybe we can talk about lose 20 pounds in a year without even trying. True or false chocolate is good for you. Access Hollywood Live. Are you budgeting your fats properly? Blah, blah, blah. You got a lot of information. So, and the book is wonderful, and congratulations with it.
Thanks.
Let me ask
for your listeners, for Mom Energy, if they decide to go, if they like it on Facebook, you get actually a download of 100 eating occasions for free, so you can actually start to put into practice down to the names of the brands that you can buy at the supermarket. So that can be really helpful as well.
Beautiful. Okay, well, thank you very much, Ashley,
Thank you.
sharing some time and some good thoughts with us, and we look forward to speaking with you again.
Take care, Paul.
Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye.